So today, children, we'll be starting with the relation as you know. Relation, that's the next part, but we will start from the part which I've already done in class 11, just a small revision. First of all, in class 11, we have done relation. And what we have understood, suppose there are two non-empty sets, A and B. Okay, I consider here two non-empty sets, one is A, one is B. A and B are two non-empty sets. Now, what is relation that we'll understand? Just for a understanding, I take two set as A, 1, 2, 3, and B I take as 3, 4. Now, when we find A cross B, here our intention is to find A cross B. Why? Relation means what? Relation from A to B is nothing but that is a subset of A cross B. If we find relation from A to B, how? The subset of A cross B. Now here this is setting. This is set A, the X as I put set A, and Y X I said I put set B. Why? Because I want to find A cross B. Here I want to find A cross B. So X axis I am putting elements of B. Y axis I am putting elements of B. Now here you can see, you can get several elements like 1, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3, 2, 4, 3, 3, 3, 4. So this is how we get the Cartesian product. So here what is Cartesian product of two set? All of you know. X, Y such that X belongs to A and Y belongs to B. So here in this Cartesian product, what we get, children? You can see 1, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3, 2, 4, 3, 3, 3, 4. So just to write this element, 1, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3, 2, 4, 3, 3, 3, 4. So these are the elements which we get from the Cartesian product of the two set A and B. Now next comes what is relation? As I told you, relation is a subset of A cross B. Subset of A cross B. Now how to do this subset? Just understand this. Suppose I said R. R is a relation from A to B. Now subset means, suppose if I say I take 3, 3. I take only one element, that is 3, 3. Now it is a subset of A cross B. Why? All the element of this set is contained in A cross B. All the element of this set is contained in A cross B. That is, here I can say R is a subset of A cross B. So R must be a relation from A to B. If it is a subset of A cross B, then it must be relation from A to B. So here what I can see, that R is a relation from A to B. Okay. So this is a relation from what? A to B, that we have understood. Now the next question is that how we have collected this element. See how we have collected. X, Y such that X equal to Y, X belongs to A, Y belongs to B. That is how we have collected, children. As we will take those ordered here, X, Y, such that first element equal to second element. Now, first element equal to second element, out of all these elements, you have only one option. And that is the reason we have written here 3, 3. Where first element belongs to the first set, second element belongs to the second set. Here, when you got 3, 3 children, first element came from first set, second element came from second set. So this is how we get the relation. That is, it is a subset of A cross B. Where you have found out A cross B, how we have seen already. R is what? This element I have taken is subset of A cross B. So any subset of A cross B is a relation from A to B. Domain of a relation. Domain of a relation. Now, what is the meaning of domain? We denote it by d small r. Now here we take all those elements which is the first element of the ordered pair in the relation. X such that x comma y belongs to R. All the first element if you take from the ordered pair, they will give you domain. Like in this case, what is the domain? The set containing 3. Here only I am writing range because if I take in the next page, it will be difficult for you to understand. Range of a relation. Yes. What is range of a relation? At first you have to write the definition. Y such that x comma y belongs to R. Second element. So here what we have? Set containing 3. Here what we have? Set containing 3. Next, the last point. What is codomain? The second set is called codomain. This is a revision of the class 11 only. Now we move on to the next thing, relation on a set. Relation on a set A. What is the meaning of it? That is relation from A to A. That is what? R is a subset of A cross A. What is R? R is a subset of A cross A. Now, in this case, we have only one set, and we have to take the cross product, and the same thing as we have done last time. Exactly same thing. Now, let us take one example, then it will be more clear to us. There is a set which is having A, set A, containing 10 elements. 1, 2, 3, up to 10. Now, they have told that in the set, in the relation R, we will have those elements which will be collected from what? From A cross A. We will collect those elements from A cross A such that this will take those ordered pair such that x plus 2y equal to 10 and x comma y belongs to A. I'll take those elements such that x plus 2y equal to 10. Not all the elements, only those elements you will take via this relation. Now, if you take here y equal to 10 minus x whole by 2. Now, if you rewrite this, it is 10 minus x by 2. Now, here, when x is an even number, then only it is possible to get y. Why? Because you try to understand, in the set A, you have only the natural numbers, children. So, if you want to get natural number, this has to be completely divisible. This has to be completely divisible. That means x has to be an even number. So what are the possibility? You see, if I put x as 2, it is okay. Why? Because 2 is an even number. 2 by 2, 1. Okay. So this will be what? 5 minus x by 2. Okay. Now 5 minus x by 2. So what will get, children? If I put x equal to 2, 2 by 2 is 1, 5 minus 1, that is 4. Next we put x equal to 4. When I put x equal to 4, 4 by 2, 2, 5 minus 2 is 3. Next, I put x equal to 6. I am putting only the even number so that it gets divisible, completely divisible. Next, you put 8. 8 by 2, that is 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. That means what? This is the relation which I have. Now, domain. What is the domain of the relation? Write it down. But at first, you write the, see, the writing part is very important. Here, what we'll do in this case, at first you write the definition. What is the definition? X such that x comma y belongs to R. At first you write the definition and then you will write. So what you write? 2, 4, 6, 8. So what we write? 2, 4, 6, 8. Next we come to range of the relation. X comma y belongs to R. So at first the definition and then you simply put the value. Next we come to what is codomain. Codomain is always the second set. So this is the codomain. Now A is what? A is a non-empty set. What is A? A is a non-empty set, and I have defined a relation from A to B. Now, the first thing we should understand today, reflexive relation. That when does we say our relation to be reflexive? Now, for reflexive relation, our relation R is said to be reflexive on a non-empty set, A, if for all A belongs to capital A comma A belongs to R. If for all A belongs to capital A comma A belongs to R. That means if we have a number of elements for all, first of all, the word reflexive is coming from what, children? Reflection. Okay, that means suppose here I have a element A, is relation of A with itself. Relation of A with itself. So it is coming from what? Reflexive, that is relation A related to R related to E. That means for all A belongs to this, A comma A will belong to R. Now I'll take an example. Without example, you will not understand, then we'll come back to the definition once again. Suppose I say take A as a set 1, 2, 3. I define a relation R 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. I define another relation R2 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1. I define R3 1, 1, 3, 3, and 1, 3. R4 null relation. R5 2, 2. Now, what does the reflexive relation is telling? If A for all A means for all the elements of a set A, for all the elements of the set A comma A should belong to R. For all the elements of the set A comma A should belong to R. That means what? Here you have 1. So in the if a relation is reflexive, that should contain 1, 1. Here A is having 2. If A is reflexive, then it must contain 2, 2. 3 belongs to A. So if it is reflexive, it must contain 3, 3. If R is a reflexive relation, suppose R1, R2, R3, R4, when whatever the relation is reflexive, if or for all the element here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1 must belong to R, 2, 2 must belong to R, 3, 3 must belong to R, minimum. If these are belonging to the relation, then we say that is a reflexive relation. Another way you can think. Suppose this is set A, this is set A, non-empty set. Here I have 1, here I have 2, here I have 3. Here I have 1, here I have 2, here I have 3. Now, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Okay. Now, all these are the diagonal elements. You can see here, all these are diagonal elements. If you think this is a square, these are diagonal elements. Now, for a relation to be reflexive, relation must contain all the diagonal elements. If our relation is reflexive, it must contain all the diagonal elements. Like R1. R1 is a reflexive relation. Why? Because whatever the element you have here in A, for all those elements you have 1, 1, 2, 2, and 3, 3. All the diagonal elements are present in R1. So R1 is what? Reflexive. So write it down. R1 is reflexive R1 is reflexive because for all A belongs to capital A comma A belongs to R. For all A belongs to capital A comma A belongs to R. That is the reason R1 is reflexive. I write it down. R2 is not reflexive as 3 belongs to A, but 3 comma 3 does not belong to R. As 3 belongs to A, but 3 comma 3 does not belong to R. Next, we come to R3. Okay, all the diagonal elements are present. So what we will say? This is reflexive. So write it down. R3 is reflexive. The reason you write the same as this one. Now we come to R4. Is R4 reflexive? R4 is not reflexive. Why? You just can give any one example that 1 belongs to A, but 1 comma 1 does not belong to R. And that is the reason what you say R4 is not reflexive. Come to children, R5. Now, is R5 reflexive? As 3 belongs to A, but 3 comma 3 does not belong to A. Next. So this is just the brief idea of what is a reflexive relation. Now, I think all of you have understood the definition. What is the definition? That whatever the element you have in A, for all of them, you must have A comma A on the R for making the relation to be reflexive. Now, there is set A having what? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Here R is a relation, children, from A to A. R is a subset of A cross A. Now, what is R we are saying? R is A comma B such that mod of A minus B is even. What we have to check? We have to check here whether relation R is reflexive or not. Now, how to check? What was the definition, children? For a relation to be reflexive, so whatever the element you have in the set A, for all of them, we must have A comma A in the relation. So here also, children, if this is the relation given, if I can show that for all of them this is true, for all of them this is true, then all the ordered pair should be here. What I mean to say, suppose we are saying, sir, I pick up 5 comma 5. Now, in say A cross A, I will have 5 comma 5. See, in A cross A, I definitely have 5 comma 5. Now, if 5 comma 5 obeys this condition, then this will be included in R. If 5 comma 5 is obeyed this condition, then automatically this will be included in R. Now, what we observe, children, that 5 minus 5 equal to 0, which is even. So 5 comma 5 should be in R. Like this, you can check for all of them. Now, it is not possible, children, that every time we will take the element like this and we'll check. So instead, what we'll do is, right, for reflexive property. For reflexive property. Let A be any arbitrary element of the set A. Then we have mod of A minus A equal to 0, which is even. Okay, you can understand here 0 minus A mod A minus A is what? A minus A is 0. Now 0 is an even number. Now when 0 is an even number, that means this condition is satisfied. So from this, what I can say, A comma A belongs to R for all A belongs to capital A. Okay, for all A belongs to capital A. Therefore, what is happening here? A comma is satisfying this condition. So A comma A must belong to the relation. A comma A must belong to the relation. That is, here A are related to A for all A belongs to capital A. Therefore, R is reflexive on A. Since this condition is satisfied, so we say it is reflexive on it. Now the two questions will come. First question is the important question, that here I have checked only for one element. Then how come I say for all A? This is because, children, I have taken arbitrary element, which can be randomly any element. So for any element, you are proving this to be true. So no need to show for each and every element separately. So for all the elements, this is true. For all the element, R is reflexive on A. Next question, if someone thinks that how 0 is an even. Children, a even number means what? If you can express that as 2 into something, as 2 into some integer, then that number is even by Euclid division lemma. So here 0 equal to 2 into 0. So this is an even number. You see here they have given R is a relation on R. On R means on a set of real number. Now what is the meaning of it? Meaning is R is from R to R. R is what? Subset of R cross R. Now how R is defined? It is A comma B such that A less than equal to BQ. A comma B belongs to set of real numbers. So this is like in this case, children, A less than equal to BQ. Just as you see. Then I'll explain it. Right. We know half belongs to R. Half is a real number. But half less than equal to half. This is not true. This is not true. That means what? That means half comma half will not belong to the relation. Why? Half is not obeying this rule. Since half is not obeying this rule, we cannot put half here in this relation. That means half comma half will not belong to R. Now, when it is not belonging to R, that means what? What is reflexive relation? Reflexive relation says that for whatever the real number you have, for all of them, this must be true. Then only you can say this is a reflexive relation on R. But this is against that. So what we say that therefore R is not reflexive. R is not reflexive on capital R. Next. So this was the reflexive relation which you have done, the preliminary concept. Now we move on to symmetry relation. That is, what is symmetry relation? Now what is this symmetric relation? See, children, the word symmetric is coming from what? Symmetry. Symmetry means what? Suppose if I say that if I cut this screen in two parts, then this is symmetric with the other half, isn't it? So this is also similar to that, but slightly different from reflexive relation. How? We'll understand. Write it down. Our relation R is said to be symmetry relation on a non-empty set, A, if when A comma B belongs to R, then B comma A also belong to R. A comma B belongs to set A. What is the symmetric relation? Our relation is said to be symmetric when this if is a very important word here, children. If when A comma B belong to R, B comma A also belong to R. That means suppose in a particular relation you are finding that A comma B is there. Then if you find B comma A, symmetric. If you don't find B comma A, not symmetric. That is what children use. Suppose I take an example, because if you take an example, it will be more clear, children. 1, 2, 3. Now you define few relation R1. 1, 2, 2, 1, and 1, 1. Please write it down. R2. R2 is 1, 2, 2, 3, and 3, 2. R3. 1, 2. R4. 1, 1. And null relation. Okay. So one by one we'll understand. First of all, this one. Is it symmetric? Obviously symmetric. Why symmetric? Here you see when you have A comma B, you have B comma A also. When you have A comma B, you have B comma A also. And here, since A and B are equal, you cannot expect another 1 comma 1 in the relation. Why? Because children, you know, in a relation we cannot have the element to be repeated. But here what we observe that when you have A comma B, you have B comma A also. When you have A comma B, you have B comma A also. So definitely it is reflexive, asymmetric. So you can see in another way, children. Suppose this is a set A, this is a set. So here what you have 1, 2, 3. Here you have 1, 2, 3. Now you know these are the diagonal elements. Okay, these are what diagonal elements. Now when we take any other element, suppose you have 2, 1, and here you have 1, 2. You have 3, 1, and here you have. Now children, this element, when it is a symmetric relation, then they should be present together. They should be present together. It is not that we can have only one element. If they are present, both of them has to be present, else they will not be present. So here you can see these elements, the green ones. Either both of them will be present or they will not be present. So if we have 1, 2, 2, 1, when we have 1, 2, that time I have 1, 2, 1 also. So definitely this is what? Symmetric relation. So write it down. Is symmetric. Is symmetric. Why? You can write the reason. As when A comma B belongs to R, then B comma A belongs to R. Here you see, in R2, you have here 1, 2. You have here 2, 3. You have here 3, 2. Now, is it symmetric? If you have A comma B, then look for B comma A. Here you have 1, 2, but 2, 1 is not there in this set. That is the reason it will not be symmetric. Though if one is obeying the condition, one is not obeying the condition. If there is anyone who is not obeying the condition, then it will not hold true. So write not symmetric as 1, 2 belongs to R, but 2, 1 does not belong to R. Next, R3. Is R3 symmetric, children? So it is not symmetric. Why not symmetric? As 1, 2 belongs to the relation, but 2, 1 does not belong to the relation. Next, children, we come to R4. Is R4 reflexive, asymmetric? Is. It is symmetric. Why? As 1, 1 is present, you cannot, it's a diagonal element, you can expect another 1, 1 to be present. Next, we come to phi. Now, this is a very important topic, children. Please listen carefully. Phi is what? A null relation. Now, is this a symmetric relation? That you have to understand. See, children, in symmetric, what we have told? If A, B is present, then if B, is present, B, is present, then it is symmetric. But if B, is not present, then it is not symmetric. If A, B is present, but B, A is not present, then not symmetric. If B, A is present, then it is symmetric. But in phi, there is nothing is present. So this has to be a symmetric relation. Why symmetric relation? What I told, that if you have A, B, then only you look for B, A. So here you don't have anything. So nothing to look for. So you have to accept this is symmetric. Why? Suppose I am saying, children, that this is symmetric relation. I am saying this symmetric relation. Now suppose you are saying no, sir, it is not symmetric relation. It is not symmetric relation. Then what I will tell? That if you are saying not symmetry, then you show me how it is not symmetric. So to show that, at first you need to have some element. Suppose you have to have 1, 2. And then if you can show 2, 1 is not there, then you can say it is not symmetric. But here, children, you don't have any element only. Since if you don't have any element, then what you have to do? You have to accept this is a symmetric relation. Like you have done in class 11, mathematical reasoning, this concept, vacuously satisfied. Vacuously satisfied. There is vacuous satisfaction. Now, what is this concept, children? I just recollect the thing. I revise the thing. I told you this one. Suppose a man with 5 eyes is intelligent. Now, suppose I want to know, is it a true sentence or false? So here what I am saying, a man with 5 eyes is intelligent. This condition is what? Here the statement does not say that whether a man can have 5 eyes or not. Here the question is that a man with 5 eyes is intelligent. Here the statement is saying, sentence is saying, when a man is having 5 eyes, the person is intelligent. So to prove this statement wrong, at first you have to get a man with 5 eyes. Okay. Then you can prove, okay, that he is not intelligent or something like that. At first, you have to get a man with 5 eyes. Then only you can say, okay, he is intelligent or not. But at first, you will not get a man with 5 eyes. So there is no question of proving this. Now, when you can prove something wrong, you have to accept that is correct. Like I give you another example. Now, when you are not looking at the board or the screen, the writing is in French. The writing is in French. Now, this is a true statement. Why true statement? Because you can never prove this wrong. When you are not looking at the screen, then the writing is in French. So automatically you can never prove this wrong. Because what it is said, when you are not looking at the screen, then the writing will be in French. So how to prove it is not correct? So this type of thing where we cannot prove it is wrong, what we say it is vacuously satisfied. And the statement is true. Like in this case, children, here what you had, void relation. Void relation is a symmetry relation. This is a symmetry relation. Why symmetry relation? Because you cannot prove that it's not symmetry. To prove it is not symmetry, children, what you have to do, you have to get an element first, and then you will show, suppose you got the element a comma b, and then if you can show that b comma a is not there, then you can say it is not symmetry. So remember this one. What is the basic thing? That if you have an element a comma b in R, after that if you have b comma a, symmetry. If you don't have b comma a, not symmetry. And if you cannot have this a comma b in R, then you have to accept it is symmetry. Okay. Now let us move on to the next thing. This one, symmetric property. Now, what is this for symmetric property? See, here what we do, right? Let a comma b belongs to A such that a comma b belongs to R. What we'll do, as I have told you just now, that if it's symmetric, then at first you should have a comma b in R. If you don't have a comma b, automatically it is symmetric. A comma b belongs to capital such that a comma b belongs to R. We are assuming a comma b is belonging to R. Now, what is the meaning of that? Write it down. Mod of a minus b is even. How I have written that? Write it down. By definition of R on A. So that means what? A minus B, mod of A minus B equal to 2k, where k belongs to Z. Children, you know, whenever it is an even number, it is a multiple of 2. Now this means what? This means A minus B equal to plus minus 2k belongs to Z. So A minus B, you have got plus minus 2. Now, so mod of B minus A equal to what? 2. K belongs to Z. Now this means what? B comma A belongs to R. When is it always? No. You had the assumption that A comma B belongs to R. And here you write by definition of R on A. So see from the beginning again, children. At first, you concept two elements in the set A such that A comma B belongs to R. So mod of A minus B is what? Even by definition of R on A. So mod of A minus B is what? 2k. Why? Because since it's even number means what? 2 into something. Now what does this k belong? K belongs to 0. Now A minus B is what? Plus minus 2. Why? Mod of this equal to something. So what is A minus B? Plus minus that one. Now if I want to write, what is my intention? To show that B comma A belongs to 1. So for that, what I have done, I have taken here a minus common. So B minus A equal to minus plus 2. So mod of B minus A equal to 2. So B comma A belongs to R when A comma B belongs to 1. How I have done that? Because this definition is the definition of relation R. So from this, what we can say that therefore R is symmetric on E. Sorry. Next, come to this one. So here what we do, we take to write it down. We have 1 comma 2 belongs to R such that 1 comma 2 belongs to R. Why? As 1 less than 2q. As 1 less than 2q. But 2, 1 does not belong to R. Why? As 2 not less than or equal to 1. Why not? Here you can see 1, 2 belongs to R, that is 1 less than 2 cube. But 2, 1 does not belong to R. Why? Because 2 not less than equal to 1 cube. So right, therefore R is not symmetric. Therefore R is not symmetric on R. What we have done, like in the previous case, as I told you, that when it is not true, just give an example. So here 1, 2 belongs to R, such that 1, 2 belongs to R. 1 less than 2 cube. 1 less than 2 cube. Now here 2, 1 does not belong to R. Why? Because 2 not less than equal to 1 cube. So here R is not reflexive symmetry relation. Transitive relation. Now what is this transitive relation? Right, our relation R is said to be transitive on a non-empty set A. Transitive on a non-empty set A if when A, B belongs to R, B, C belongs to R, then A, C belongs to R. Now listen, this is quite similar to symmetry relation. Now what does it saying? What it is saying? That here, as relation is said to be transitive on set A, when if it is such that when A, B belonging to R, B, C belong to R, if these two are given, try to understand my words here again. If this one and this one is given, then you will look for the third one. If third one is present, then it's transitive. If third one is not present, not transitive. If you are given these two, and after that, if you are getting this one, then it is transitive. If you are not getting this one, then it is not transitive. Now take the example if you know more carefully. R1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 3. Next you take R2, 1, 2, R3, 1, 1, 1, 2, R4, 2, 2, R5, 5. See, AB is there, BC is there, but AC is not there. Write it down. R1 is not transitive. If you can find any one pair like this, which is not obeying the condition, then it is not transitive. So write R1 is not transitive. R1 is not transitive as 2, 1 belongs to R1, 1, 2 belongs to R1, but 2, 2 does not belong to R1. R2. Now, what is R2? In R2, we have only one element, one order. We have what? We have only one order. Now, that means what I told, if you are given A, B, B, C, then only you look for A, C. But here you don't have that. Here you have only one order. Only one, 2. So this will be transitive. transitive relation, why vacuously true. Now come to this one. 1, 1, 1, 2. It is transitive. Why? You see, A, B is there. B, C is there. What you need for A, C? 1, 2 that is present. Here you can say that when 1, 1 belongs to R3, 1, 2 belongs to R3, then 1, 2 belongs to R3. Therefore, R3 is transitive on A. R3 is transitive on A. R4. Now in R4, what you have? Is it transitive? A equal to B equal to C equal to 2. So you have here 2, 2, you have here 2, 2, you have here 2, 2. Next, so it is transitive. Now R5, is it transitive? It is true. It is transitive. Why transitive? Because I told you, children, if you have A, B and B, C, then only the choosing of this one comes. Here you don't have the chance on. Okay, children, so this is the concept of transitivity. Then let us move on to the next one. Now, in this case, we have proved for reflexivity and symmetry property, not transitivity. Now we'll move on to transitivity. Right, transitive or transitive property. Right, let A, B, C belongs to what? A. Such that A, B belongs to R. B, C belongs to R. This is our assumption. Then what we can say? Mod of A minus B is even. And mod of B minus C is even. Why? By definition of R on A. Now this means what? A minus B equal to twice K1. Why? Because this is even number. And B minus C equal to twice K2. Because K1 and K2 both are integer. Now children, when we have transitive property, what we do? We have A, we have BC, then we find for AC. So you add these two. Now if you add these two, what you get? A minus C equal to 2 times K1 plus K2. Now when K1 comma K2 belongs to R, not R, sorry, Z, then K1 plus K2 should also belong to Z. So what we have done here, plus minus 2K1 plus minus 2K2, okay? And here plus minus what? 2K2. Here plus minus 2K1. Now when you add them, children, what you get? Plus minus 2K1 plus K2. Okay. Now, from this you can write mod of A minus C equal to 2 times K1 plus K2. So what you can say, A, C belongs to R. When A, B belongs to R and B, C belongs to R. Write it down by definition of R on A. After that, you can write therefore R is transitive on A. When a relation is reflexive symmetry as well as transitive, what we say? It is equivalence relation. This one we have not done transitivity. So we'll do the transitivity now. Right, let 63, 4, 2 belongs to R. You can take any other values also. We have 63, 4, 2 belongs to R. Such that 63, 4 belongs to R. 4, 2 belongs to R. How do I know? See, 63, 4 belongs to R. As 63 less than 4 and 4 less than 2 cube. 63 less than 4 cube, 4 less than 2 cube. But you see, 63 not less than or equal to 2 cube. Therefore, 63, 2 does not belong to R. Therefore, R is not transitive. Therefore, R is not transitive on R. Now come digraph or directed graph. Now, what is this digraph or directed graph? This will understand by an example. In a particular set, you see, you have 3, 6, 9, 12. And there is a relation R. What you have? 3, 3, 6, 6, 9, 9, 12, 12, 6, 12, 3, 9, 3, 12, 3, 6. So these are the things given, and we have to check here whether it is reflexive, symmetric, or transitive or not. So for this type of cases, we have a special technique for it. What we do, here 3, here 6, here 9, here 12. Okay, 3, 6, 9, 2. At first, you will write this four element, 5 element, 6 element, whatever it is given to you, children. At first, you arrange them geometrically, proper geometrical way. You can do randomly also, but if you do it geometrically, it will be easy for you to know, understand. Now, here what you have 3, 3. When you have here 3, 3, you encircle 3 and give an arrow in anticlockwise direction. Similarly, when you have 6, 6, encircle 6 and give an arrow in anticlockwise direction. Similarly, you have 9, 9. So you encircle 9 and give an arrow in anticlockwise direction. Then you have 12, 12. So encircle 12 and give an arrow in anticlockwise direction. Now after that, you have 6 to 12. 6 to 12 means 6 to 12. From 6, an arrow will run to 12. 3 to 9. 3 to 9 means an arrow that will run from 3 to 9. Then it is 3 to 12. 3 to 12 means this one. Arrow running from 3 to 12. Then 3 to 6. So arrow will run from 3 to 6. So this is the thing. This is the thing you have. Now from this you have to conclude. How? Very simple. First we conclude for reflexive. There is R is reflexive on set A. R is reflexive on set A. Why? As for all A belongs to capital A, comma A belongs to R. For all A belongs to capital A, comma A belongs to R. Then why? How do I know? Because all the elements have been encircled. If all the elements have been encircled, then what do you say? It is a reflexive relation. So here all the elements have been inserted. So straight away you can say it is a reflexive relation. We come to symmetric property. For symmetric property, children, we should have bidirectional arrow. If you find in the diagram there is a single unidirectional arrow, if you find there is a single unidirectional arrow, then it is not symmetric. If you find there is a single unidirectional arrow, then it is not symmetric. So write it down. As 3, 12 belongs to A and 3, 6 belongs to R. Sorry, 3, 12 belongs to R. But 12, 3 does not belong to R. Therefore, R is not symmetrical. R is not symmetric on A. But here it was reflexive on A, but not symmetric on A. Why? Because it is unidirectional arrow, not bidirectional arrow. Bidirectional when you will have? If you have 3, 12, that time you will have 12, 3 also. Then you can say, okay, it is symmetric. Transitive property 3, 6 is present, 6, 12 is present, 3, 12 is present. And if you observe, triangle law of addition of vector is satisfied, then it is transitive. Triangle law of addition of vector is satisfied, then it is transitive. That means only A, B is present, no problem. Only A, C is present, no problem. But if you find this is present and this is absent, then it is not transitive. Like in this case, we can understand it's transitive. Why? A, B is there, B, C is there, A, C is also there. So here you write part 3, R is transitive. R is transitive on A. Why? Like as 3, 6 belongs to R, 6, 12 belongs to R, and 3, 12 belongs to R.